Hello, and welcome to Pure Soul Alchemy with Gabriella. I'm Gabriella Espinosa, Catalyst for Life and creator of Pure Soul Alchemy. I'll be taking us through a soul realignment process for the next 30 minutes, so be sure to find a nice comfortable place where you can lay down, relax, and receive this session. Pure Soul Alchemy is a transmission of channeled healing technologies which restructure your creative source grid. Transformative operations and procedures are enacted for you while you comfortably relax. Through my perception and vocalization of the inner energetic grid, we are opened in ways which allow these technologies to come into our physical reality and enact change on our behalf. There will be quite a few moments of silence as I am being with these processes, so relax into the silence during these times and receive the healing energies. Don't focus too much on what is being said. It's quite helpful to go back and listen again repeatedly to deepen the effects of the session and take the healing further. Today's show is a shamanic healing session to bring healing to our ancestors. You might think that what your ancestors suffered in the past has nothing to do with your life now. However, their traumas have a much bigger impact than you could ever imagine. In this session, we will initiate shamanic healing operations for your ancestors, along with processes to bring their healing results directly into your current life. You can prepare for your session by visualizing your ancestors and sending them a heartfelt invitation to join you during this time. Some of the healing points we will cover in our session. Number 1, expanding the bond with our ancestors, creating clean and healthy connections. Healing point number 2, alleviation of our ancestors' past traumas. Healing point 3, a healing of past relationships and clearing of unfinished business for our ancestors. And healing point number 4, grounding the benefits of their healing into your central core nexus of realization. Now settle into your stillness. Fall into your natural deep breathing rhythm. Bring into your awareness. Bring into your heart. And bring into your pelvic bowl your willingness to connect with your ancestral lineage. Visualize your and their agreement to have vast amounts of trauma and karma lifted and transformed. Visualize the upliftment of their spirits and the spirits of all their progeny. Recognize their struggles from the past, intermixed with the knowing that all will be released gently in perfect timing. Witness your inner self receiving the full benefit of these healing processes your ancestors are about to receive. Rest now in the knowing that they and you are held by spirit at all times, and that your orientation to life is undergoing a vastly improved change. Let that take hold in your sight, in your heart, and in your life as we go through our session. All right, Pure Soul Alchemy session, a healing for our ancestors, 9/27/14. And we're going to begin by connecting with our divine physical and non-physical intelligence to align completely with our own core essence. Aligning with the fundamental and essential aspects of ourselves. Aligning with the earth, the sun, the moon, with our own Mother, Father, God, Self, with our own inherent Creator Self, and our right placement in the universe. The purest healing source within us is our own deepest aspect. We agree to serve as our own healing agent and to serve from and as our own ultimate inner counsel, the all that I am. Great, so we're going to go ahead and begin by visualizing our ancestors. And we don't have to know them in order to visualize them. We're just letting our systems, our bodies, our cells, our DNA do this part for us. So we're extending our loving reach to connect from our higher God self to our ancestors, relatives, those in bodies as well as those who have passed on. So we're going to initiate care representations to infiltrate their lower bowels and lower ethers. So in a sense, we are starting at the root, at the base of things. Initiating care representations to infiltrate their lower bowels and lower ethers. Initiating installation of higher ground amazement, gratitude, and incorporating a sense of adventure in all of this, in the rest of our proceedings. So we're kind of bringing the fun in to this topic that can very easily be turned into something very serious. We're just bringing a little bit of fun, laughter, light, humor. Great. Conducting research to gain greater understanding for their continued reconstellation, and we are clearing oppressive standards. Conducting greater research to gain a much deeper understanding for their continued reconstellation. Great. Content rehabilitation is underway. We're addressing the solar plexus region and the ethers governing the solar plexus region for our ancestors and for us all. Great. And just bringing in the awareness of the benefits of proxying for our ancestors. All right, so we're going to do some eliminating of a strong psychic bond with fortitude. I know fortitude sounds like it can be a positive, but in this case, it's more like fortification. And it can instill rigidity, unable to let go, stance, power plays, power struggles, and indifference. So we're going to also at this point do a little bit more psychic bond clarification. And this is, we're broadcasting for what is ours and what is theirs. Psychic clarification of what is ours and what is theirs, and knowing the difference in each moment, and particularly for our ancestors, knowing the difference in the past, things that have gone on in the past that are well worth researching, knowing about, and releasing. Clearing oppressive standards, opening remarkable awareness in its place, and let's also do an elimination of counterintuitive measures brought on by the facing of traumas in past lifetimes, in their lifetimes, and in ours. Let's also clear the distortion of placidity. I'll have to look that up later. And let's also clear a distortion, maladjustment of repetitive rebounds. And let's go ahead and do some clearing. We're going to apply Focus Pure Soul Alchemy Healing Force to the establishing of relationships, of new relationships based on these old patterns. Implementing a reconstellation of higher thriving. Great, so we're going to implement a transmission of beneficial intestinal tract downloads for optimization of digestion consciousness. This is for our ancestors, and therefore for ourselves. Initiating a transmission of beneficial intestinal tract downloads for optimization of digestion consciousness. Recalibrating digestive circuitry. Great, and we're extending a fear reprieve. Reallocation of soul digestive system to its proper vital purpose. And with this fear, we are transforming it. We're not eliminating it, we're transforming it, because it is very intense. It's a high level of potential energy that has been interrupting our digestion. And when I say digestion, I mean it on all levels: the physical, the mental, the emotional, the energetic, the psychic digestion. So elimination cycles being upgraded. Right, so we are implementing a reconstruction of a loss of ground in the sanctity of their own being. Healing a strangled response structure. healing loss of identification with the matriarch, healing potential. Applying focus, pure soul alchemy, healing force to identification with utilitarianism and convention system override in terms of this matriarch healing potential. So we're going to go ahead and do a healing of heavy-duty loss from the past and a resultant sense of limitation. And let's go ahead and do an elimination of conventional displays, ways in which that has shown up unbeknownst to us. Them. And we are upforming their personhood in past lives and the space which they find themselves currently. Healing incarnational deceit held in the lower chakras of family members here on earth. And we are implementing an umbilical cord incision. A healing for an umbilical cord incision. And I'm being told that that word incision does not mean what we normally think it means. It has a different definition in this case. All right, let's go ahead and implement focus, pure soul alchemy, healing force to an insidious response and a system of insidious responses that encloses their outlook for new generations to come. And of course, we're doing this particular piece back then in time, where they are right now and where we are right now. Incorporating conscious digestion capacity. Great. So applying a healing for any and all undigested traumas that have been cloning themselves throughout the echoes of time. And let's also implement an upgrade in our DNA structures, our genetic capability to release ourselves from these echoes. Retrieving a gentle sense of uprightness in orientation in life and beyond. Implementing a healing of futility. A general sense of caving in to control from both external and internal sources. Great, so implementing focus, pure soul alchemy, healing force to this landmark healing of futility. In this case, it refers to a general sense of caving in to control from both external and internal sources. And let's also implement a clearing of landmines held within. And dynamic aperture regeneration. Let's go ahead and do a clearing of regret held in the third portion of their brain wave structures. Healing a deep despair about their inauthenticity, driving a paradigm of closed consciousness. Conduct rehabilitation for these key sequences to resolve and evolve. Clearing out messed up applications of the past due to these pieces. Alright, so at this time we're going to go ahead and implement a clearing of past relationships between all of our ancestors and any others they may have unfinished business with, living or deceased. So we're going to go ahead and invite and welcome the higher selves, the oversouls, and the higher guides, guardians of all those involved, ancestors and their past connections. And their higher guides, guardians, only those of 100% pure light. Right, so let's go ahead and begin by clearing between all of them any damnations held between them. Any deepening to their circumstances. Let's go ahead and clear expectations. And recalling of beneficial circumstances. Great, so at this time we're going to cut, clear away, burn off, and sever any and all toxic, unhealthy, dysfunctional cords, ties, attachments, linkages, bondings held between our ancestors and any of others that they may have unfinished business with. Discharging of negative connections, cords, ties, attachments that do not serve them or anyone, and ways in which they have been brandishing off wellness. Great, so we're going to also clear expectations held between all of them, setting themselves and each other free. And let's also clear away any duty-bound roles that they may have taken on or that others may have taken on with respect to them. Implementing a contingency setting for them all, still clearing damnations. And let's also clear away past life orientations. Destructions and disease. and we're going to implement a capitalized infusion. Great, so at this time we're complete with that piece, and we're going to go ahead and thank all of those who participated with our ancestors in healing between them. So we are giving them a profuse thank you and sending them on their way. Thank you and goodbye. Great, so we are establishing the development of gaining back power in the self, gaining back pieces of the self, and assimilating and integrating into wholeness. So we're going to begin recollecting, incorporating, and applying our ancestors' beneficial healing outcomes and healing momentum to our own central core nexus. Implementing an infusion of faith in this process. Assigning healing and healthy restructuring to part the ways of solidified opportunities and positive outcomes. Instability rehabilitation. So we are assigning healing and healthy restructuring to part the ways of solidified opportunities and positive outcomes which have been locked from our connectivity. Extending to our ancestors loving care and a gentle upliftment of their soul's trajectory, initiating completeness with stations of reprieve, initiating these stations of reprieve, implementing a gentle outcycling of restrictions. And this will continue over time, this gentle outcycling of these restrictions, and solidifying in integrity our next highest outcomes, instilling the healing trajectory of our ancestors with faith, boundary release, quick set healed composure, and navigating authority lifestyles, and a contemplation of rehashing the past, release, initiating a connectivity enhancement, solidifying in our purpose, and implementing a rejection, a state and sense of rejection release, care-filled optimization in its stead. And let's go ahead and release corrupted and degraded life cycling, implementing a happy, altruistic outlook in life. Great, so we're now bringing our session to a close.